Hello guys and welcome back to this channel. I'm your host Idika Nobot and this is Isaaca News. Very interesting news for you right now. In fact, the signing of the Fifth Amendment is already yielding dividends. So in the fifth alteration or the fifth amendment of the Constitution, a major amendment was that railway and railway development and power, that's electricity and development, will be moved from the executive leaf to the concurrent legislative list. Now, what you need to understand is all, will I say, items on the executive legislative list were items that could only be done solely by the executive arm of government, that is the executive arm of the federal government, since we practice a federal system of governance. So items on the executive list can only be handled by the executive arm of government, while items on the concurrent list can then be handled by by all arms of government, be it the federal government or the state government or the local government. Now, with this current alteration of the constitution, powers have then been, will I say, decentralized, and avenues have been made for states to come in and develop these key sectors. So what have the southwestern region of Nigeria gone ahead to do? These guys had a meeting. Wow, like this is super amazing. So they had a meeting in Akure, the capital of Ondo State, and in that meeting, the 6 states in the southwest geopolitical zone agreed unanimously to pursue regional power and railway projects in order to develop the economic and the social potentials of the region. Now, the southwestern region is a very powerful region in Nigeria, economically speaking. It houses giants like Lagos and Ogun State. And then it also borders a lot of our West African neighbors. So countries like Benin Republic, like Togo, even Ghana, most of them would travel into Nigeria through the southwestern corridor, and less through the northwestern corridor. So the northwestern corridor is going to have countries like Niger Republic move into Nigeria through that corridor. But for a lot of our southwestern brothers are going to use the southwestern part of the country to come into Nigeria in order to boost trade and development. So the southwest is trying to put itself in a place that would make it more advantageous to other South African countries around us. So if we can have our rail system working in the southwest, and we can have power, at a very attractive rate in the southwest, it is going to pull investors from the southwestern, investors who are trying to look outside Nigeria to our southwestern countries back to Nigeria. Why? The market is here, and the manpower is here, the raw materials are here. But sometimes we don't have a favorable business environment, which is what the Southwest is trying to do. They're trying to pull all strings that they can and come as a region to create a regional business enabling environment that will compel investors from going elsewhere to pitching their tent in the southwestern geopolitical zone of Nigeria. So in the conference that was held, the conference was tagged DAWN, which meant Development Agenda for Western Nigeria. Development Agenda for Western Nigeria. So this was hosted in, like I said, in the capital of Ondo State, in Akure, and the states that would consist of the southwestern geopolitical zone will be states such as Ondo, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Lagos. Ondo, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Lagos. The southwestern geopolitical zone is home to over 45 million of our total population. Over 200 manufacturing factories are in the southwestern geopolitical zone. Huge trade and commercial activities, which would account for over 37% of Nigeria's gross domestic product, which is our GDP, is from the southwestern geopolitical zone. So this region is already in the best position to set the pace for development in Nigeria. And this is without being biased. Okay, I'm from the south, if you want to go geopolitical, from Akwa Ibom to be more precise. But the southwest is best positioned in Nigeria factually to set the pace for development because they are the most united of all the geopolitical zones in Nigeria. And they have more manpower in terms of development, in terms of technical manpower, in terms of exposure, and in terms of infrastructure to set the pace. Now, there's a very healthy competition going on right now in the country, which is highly admired. So when one state does this, other states begin to try to see how to set their own state also on national map. So if the Southwest can pull this mighty feat, it will compel all other geopolitical zones to go to the drawing board and to see what they can do to also. Now, it would interest you to know, just in case you don't know, that already the Niger Delta region, which is not a geopolitical zone, has already signed a memorandum of understanding with an American firm in Atlanta to build a $15 billion rail system across all 9 states in the Niger Delta region, which should include all the states in South-South and about 2, there's all the states in the South-South. Then we have Abia State in the Southeast, Imo in the Southeast. Then we have Oyo State in the Southwest. So we have the 6 states in the South. Then we have 2 from the Southeast. Then 1 from Southwest. A rail is linking all these states, of which the South is benefiting maximally from. So if every geopolitical zone can come together to say, how can we regionally develop ourselves? Not to the detriment of other places, because things cannot be done. We cannot address the situation in this country, will I say, as a whole. We need to compartmentalize and, will I say, focus on small compartments and see how to build from there. So even the North, the North has a Northern Nigerian Development Commission, that is NNDC. Then the Niger Delta has NNDC, NDDC, which is Niger Delta Development Commission. The East, I don't think they have a commission of their own, but the Southwest has a commission of their own, which I cannot really wrap my head around right now. But if all geopolitics can come together to see how to pull heads together to develop the potentials in their region, is going to benefit the economy as a whole. And with time, we can then begin to see in the inter-geopolitical zone, whether it's a communication that can foster trade and development for the zones and for Nigeria as a whole. Now, we should understand that the African Development Bank, that is the FDB, is already building roads that are going to connect about 5 West African countries. 5 West African countries, which will terminate in Lagos. Roads are being built by the African Development Bank. Now, the Southwest ought to build so fast to position itself to receive the spillover of this development into its region. Because if it doesn't do so, and other West African countries does this job that they don't do, it is going to make factories to go and pitch their tent in these other countries and then export to Nigeria. And because of our high population, we will definitely consume products coming from there. Okay, so I'm not advocating for competition. Where I am, if the competition is healthy between the West African states, then it's okay, because healthy competition is good for, well, I say, continental growth. But this is a very huge one, which we can see as dividend or an after effect of the recent alteration by the president, on the Nigerian constitution. So this is a huge one, and it's very, very nice. So once this happens, we're going to see an increase in the population in the southwestern geopolitical zone, because even people down south or down east or up north are going to begin to migrate toward the southwest. We're going to see people coming from other countries to the southwest. So we're going to see there'll be increase in jobs, increase in tax, there'll be increase in trade and investment, increase in commerce, increase in buying and selling. The whole place is going to, well, I say, explode with a lot of investment opportunities. Now, other geopolitical zones can also put their own zones in a favorable position to compete and to demand population from other zones and bring it to their own zone, so they can benefit maximally from the tax and other incentives that can be incurred due to an increase in population and job creation in their own states. This is huge, and all these things are happening just in 1 week. This week we've seen 2 airports being commissioned. This week we've seen NDDC secure $15 billion dollar for real projects. We've seen the Southwest come together to secure infrastructural development for their region. We've seen the PEBEC, have its own celebratory, dinner to commemorate and congratulate itself for the job that it has done over the past decade. We've seen a lot happen in the country right now on the Nigerian scene, and this calls for jubilation and calls for celebration. A lot has happened this week alone, and we are very grateful for giving the opportunity to cover all these developments. Please do well to check out our other videos and to keep yourself abreast with the developments going on right now in the country. So please remember to keep your national image intact, okay? Let's reduce our ethnic bigotry and our ethnocentricity and all the different type of, oh, I am this, I am that. Please, you are a Nigerian and be proud to be a Nigerian, and keep your national image high. Keep it high, because you're going to need it in the coming days, okay? So remember to tell a friend that you're a Nigerian. Till you see you again, Godspeed.